Now that we gained our lifeguarding qualification, it's time to look for a job. In this video, I'm going to try to answer a question about how much money do lifeguards really make. It's not an easy question to answer though, because two different lifeguards living in the same country can have vastly different salaries. I tried to answer this question by doing some research for my own job search, but also going to Reddit, asking the community about their pay in the location that they are in. A majority of their responses came from US. I had few answers about UK. I also had a couple of people answer about their pay as a lifeguard in Canada. I'll walk you through answers and we'll learn together about how different lifeguards pay can get depending on location or who they are, and found out that there are really four factors that impact the size of your salary. The first factor that impacts your earnings is your location. That might be your country and city that you live in, but also how far you are from the city center or if you work by the sea or the ocean. Your pay depends on the country you live in and how much of a water access the country has. From what I discovered is that the closer you live to the city, the more job opportunities there are and it generally pays better. And I also found that some countries pay lifeguards better than others. Repulsive Lawyer 3639 says that they are 17 in San Francisco, California, and get paid $25 an hour, which seems pretty cool. Lucky Boy 233 says in Colorado the pay is pretty high at $16.50 an hour. Interesting Monk 4160 says Ocean Lifeguard, State of California, $20 per hour. Vermicelli Scary 4747 says Buffalo Apartment, outdoor 9 feet deep pool, $18 an hour. Suspicious Brown Stain, full-time head lifeguard in North Carolina, working at YMCA, $12 an hour part-time. A couple of people from Canada here. Spidey Web, $20.50 per hour. That's Canadian. Condo pools in Ontario. Captain Bean 24 says that they lifeguard in Canada, BC, which I'm not sure where that is, and their starting wage is $29 for those who work in the city. I will link to this post in the description. And as you can see, this is not a complete breakdown that would cover many places. That's why I call this video a part one in a series of videos where I will be gathering this data in the future and sharing everything I learned along the way. You can contribute to this data by adding your own comment, including your wage and location. Some of the wages will probably change to reflect the state of the economy. Clean Leather 2863 says that they work in Las Vegas in casinos which have lifeguards. Every casino property has lifeguards, and it is by far the easiest job to get your foot in the door. Apparently, they pay around $15.50 an hour, with the newer casinos paying $17 an hour. And even though lifeguard pay is around $15.50 on the specific property described here, there's a lot of potential to make tips from guests by setting up chairs for them or attending certain needs, as well as potential to moving up to VIP access pool where there are no official stands to the small size of the pools. So it's mostly setting up chairs and attending their needs. Quiet Variety 5250 says that their company starts at $20 an hour and then it will bump to $21 the third year. Closer to the city, the company pays $22.50 to start. Supervisors make $23.50 and $28 per hour. And that is the New York State. Country parks. Could be pool, beachfront, splash pads, or the ocean. And they say that ocean guards make more, just not sure how much. Dan D. Legend says that for Chicago Park District is $16.50 per hour for shallow waters, $19 for lifeguards, and $20.50 for senior lifeguards. Unconstitutional says that New Jersey Water Park will pay you $11 an hour. Another factor that has an implication on how much money you'll be making is the type of water you'll be working in. From what I've gathered, ocean lifeguards get paid the most. Open water lifeguards and lifeguards that work in many other dangerous waters, rescue professionals, are getting paid the most, but also they have to deal with the most amount of injuries and potential death, which could have massive impact on their mental health. So even though they are making more money, they could be struggling mentally and need support and therapy to make up for it. From what I understand also, shallow pool water lifeguards will be getting paid less because there is less incidents, they're less serious, and also they hire more young, inexperienced people who have less qualification and are at the beginning of their career. Yak 3168 says that pay at his ocean lifeguard agency is $20 an hour for seasonal guards and $22.15 for full-time round guards, which immediately tells me that ocean lifeguards make more money than pool lifeguards. Rebecca HR 19 says that in New York City, pay varies from $15 to $25+ per hour. Ocean lifeguards with several years experience make 24. They make 22 at the YMCA for summer and $18 an hour during the year. Ocean lifeguards out on Long Island can make a lot more. I've seen 30 to 40 an hour for year-round guards at danger. Then me at 2401 says they are getting temporary workers $15 an hour and part-timers $20.4 per hour, and that is in North Carolina, in Charlotte. Covalent Blonde says that in Silicon Valley, California, the public city pool near pays minimum wage, which is $16 an hour, and some of the other city nearby public and private pools will pay $18 to $20 an hour. Faceless Cockroach from Washington State says the pool pays $17.50 an hour and their boyfriend works 30 minutes away and gets paid $16.75 an hour. Another factor that has an impact on how much money you make as a lifeguard is your experience level. So as I mentioned before, young and inexperienced people will be getting the least amount of money or minimum wage. Once they become senior lifeguards, they will experience a bump in pay. And from what I understand, those bumps in pay happen every year in some places. And supervisors and head lifeguards will be getting the most. Kit Kat Loves Taylor, in a suburb of Pittsburgh, makes $14 an hour, but it can go as high as $16. All the lifeguards at their facility are in high school and all the supervisors are in college vocational programs. Mysterious Drawer 9 says the pay at their water park in Pennsylvania is decent at $14 an hour for shallow water guards and $15 an hour for special facilities. Bleep Bloop 4995 says that they work for Stargard Elite in Utah, where they start with $15.50 after a couple of months of in-service, and it goes up to 16.50 per hour. Ooga Booga Man 3 says that they are getting $17.15 per hour for first year guards and $1.25 raise each year, plus additional assistant or head guard status in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. In UK, Rusty Radish here says that for a long time his company was paying national minimum wage and that primarily 16 and 17-year-olds were hired, so it wasn't worth the responsibility. Now they are paid national living wage regardless of age. So El Bertilac says that when they lifeguarded pool in England, southeast, they earned 10p above minimum wage per hour, and supervisors only 20p above minimum wage. Talking with the people who work there now, it seems it's gotten worse, which is very discouraging for me because I am in UK and it's quite depressing to find out that this serious and important job could be such low pay. This is part of the reason why I'm looking to relocate, and I will be trying to find a place that I would definitely be getting paid more than in UK. Also, I'll be looking to find answers and maybe lobby the industry to get people a pay rise in the future. These two are my only UK lifeguard pay references. Let's look on Indeed and find out what the job listings say. We have a pool lifeguard, NPLQ required, of course, in Wellington, in England, 10.42 to 11.44 an hour. NPLQ lifeguard, casual, £12 an hour. Lifeguard trainee, qualified, Warminster, 12.46 an hour. Hotel lifeguard, 11.61 an hour. Outdoor pool lifeguard in Newquay, 12 to 12.50 an hour. Let's see on London. Lifeguards, activity day camp, summer holidays, 14.57 an hour, 0-hour contract. Summer Lido lifeguards, 13.15 an hour. Leisure assistants, lifeguards. We've got leisure assistant in Aviemore, which is in Scotland. It's a summer destination in a hotel. And this job doesn't even say how much that person would get paid. Then we had a lifeguard in Virgin Active Northampton, 11.44 an hour. Lifeguard Nuffield Health in Bridgend, 24,980 a year. Leisure Center, Exmouth, 11.67 an hour. So these are not really high wages. It's more of a low-paying job in UK. Mainly these will be in swimming pools. Let me see if there's any beach lifeguard jobs here in UK. At the moment, I don't see any beach lifeguards here, which is a shame. So it looks there is no job openings for a beach lifeguard at the moment in UK, so I can't even tell what kind of money I would be getting if I was working as a beach lifeguard in UK yet. If you are a beach lifeguard that works in UK, please make sure you share in the comments so we have an idea of what to expect here in UK. And the final factor that plays the role in determining how high your salary is a market force called supply and demand. In this case, if lifeguards are in short supply, they will be receiving a higher pay. On the flip side, if there is many people who have this qualification and there is many candidates that apply for the same job, they will be getting less pay. In this situation, the most common sense solution would be to strike a balance between being in a place that is in need of lifeguards, but also pays a good wage to those lifeguards too. Otherwise, you might find yourself in a situation that despite the fact that you're getting paid well and that you are in demand, you happen to be the only person able to do the job, which means that you will have to work twice as hard, twice as long, and might not be getting your usual breaks or any other employee benefits that are needed. You could end up being unhappy at work, overworked, and generally dissatisfied despite being paid well. In this case, you have to then decide what's more important for you, the money or the passion and desire for life saving. What I really learned this far is that the lifeguard's pay will depend on 4 different factors: the location where you are in the world, and how close to open water you are, or whether you are inland and you work in a pool. It will also be about the experience level of you as a lifeguard, the supply and demand for lifeguards in this particular location, type of water, and that it is a good idea for you to take some time before you decide to apply for a job and consider what is the best option for you. Try to find a place which will not only pay you well, have a good balance in terms of working hours, but also a possibility to go higher up and increase your pay in the future. I will be looking into other places, countries, and cities around the world to determine where is the most attractive place to work as a lifeguard, because one of my favorite things about being a lifeguard is the fact that you can work in other countries around the world, because saving people's lives is international. And when you have this kind of qualification, it could take you really around the world. My goal is to find a good place to live and work that also allows me to cover my bills and live a decent life. This is part 1 of the series of videos on lifeguards pay. I'll be making separate videos to break down lifeguard pay by country as soon as I gather enough data. Subscribe to make sure you don't miss when it goes live. If you are already working as a lifeguard, let us know how much you're making in the comments and where you are in the world, so we can put all that together and help each other find a good, suitable place to work in.